Matcha vanilla green tea. Very nice. The problem is at the same time the solution, because more than 40% of everything we do during a day are unconscious things. What? Can you believe that? More than 40%, that's almost half of everything we do during a day, it's habitual and we are not aware of that. It's automatic. That's crazy. That's what Professor Wendy Wood says in her book. Statistically, according to studies, that's the case for almost all people. We are habit creatures and we get through our days through learned patterns of behavior. Through a cue and then response, we just fly through the day without thinking too much about it. So we need to make sure that our habits, the things we do during a day, are intentional, not just random things we learned over time to get through a day, but intentional things that help us reach our goals and aspirations. And because that's harder than it sounds, I fail constantly at them, at implementing a new habit. It could take up to 60 days to learn a new habit, a long journey on which we usually fail because we not get through that time. So we need some systems that help us implement new habits. So I would like to make a challenge out of this to invite you either to join me in implementing a new habit, or hopefully by documenting my process, my experience, it's a good starting point for you to implement new habits. But why habits and systems? I explain that in a moment. Welcome back to another video on our journey to live better, more meaningful lives through habits and systems, decreasing suffering. Habits to reach big goals and systems that make sure that these goals are intentional, that they are in a process that help us reach many different kind of goals. So what are habits? What are systems? Well, habits are the conscious or unconscious things we do during our day that keeps us getting through a day. It's brushing teeth, eating breakfast, having lunch, having a shower, doing a workout, doing work, and so on. It's more or less everything we do on a regular basis. And that's most of the things we do during a day. Well, the problem is that we can't rely on our intentional willpower to work on all our goals over a long period of time. Our willpower works only in the short term for clear outcomes. But in the long term, considering even the smallest outcome we would like to achieve, we can't rely on that. We need a habit for it. We need to learn it over a longer period of time, and then we can be sure that we get back to that goal through a habit which we repeat more or less unconsciously over a long period of time. And what about systems? Well, systems make sure that all those tiny habits, first, we are intentional about them, we have a process of reviewing them, identifying them, and aligning them with our big goals and aspirations, and then taking all those habits and putting them into a system. And I like to think about our lives as a very complicated operating system, or a very complicated, well-oiled machine with a lot of parts that work together. Now, more than often it happens that we are not working on all these parts, or that our machine is not outputting what it could actually do. It has so many parts, it's so complicated that it does not produce the outcome it could. We are not using it to its full potential. That's a nice picture to describe that. So putting system in place makes sure that even the smallest goal is achieved through a habit that it fits somewhere in that system. So let's do this. Let's implement a new habit. Let's document it. Let's review it and see how we did. I would like to make a small challenge out of it, and I invite you on this journey if you always wanted to implement the habit of journaling. That's the right moment to start, because I tried and I failed. I just realized yesterday that I didn't write in my online journal since last year. What? And I always thought it was just a few weeks ago. Of course, I wrote in other ways. I wrote articles. I used a notebook and jotted down ideas, but not my journal. That can't be right. And I just published yesterday and reviewed another video about journaling, the life-changing habit, and realized, oh no, I have to make sure that I implement this goal. And I would like to do it again, hopefully in a way that I will keep it. So, how do we do that? We use the strategy James Clear describes in his book Atomic Habits through 4 things. Implementing a habit through 4 things, which is a cue, a craving, a response, and a reward. Cue, craving, response, reward. So we need to find a way how we can make journaling throughout the day go through this 4 process. And we start with making a promise. It's important to write it down, and I will write it down in my new notebook, which I'm just starting out. A black one from Moleskine with a pen. I will do it in writing analog, but also online. I have on Notion a database for writing daily journals. Maybe I share that as a template. Let me know if it would be helpful for you. And we'll write it down. I will journal for the next 21 days. That's a minimum to implement a habit. Could be up to 60 days, but we document it for 21 days. I will journal for the next 21 days every morning before I do any other work until the 25th of May. I will review my process, my outcome. I will let you know in a video on the 25th of May. Perhaps you join me on this journey. Write down a promise and use cues, create craving, a response, and a reward for you to implement that new habit. I hope this video was helpful. See you in 21 days back reviewing our experience. Have a nice day, enjoy it. See you next time. Bye.